Equity and inclusion are vital for the City of Greensboro's ability to grow and innovate in such a fast-changing environment. One Greensboro is a monthly show that highlights some of the ways the Office of Equity and Inclusion honors the observances listed on our Heritage Calendar and spotlights a City of Greensboro employee in a segment we call The One. These observances are an integral part of the National Equal Employment Opportunity and Civil Rights Program and encourage us to live as one people, one community, one Greensboro.
Welcome to this episode of One Greensboro. Today we are talking to a female firefighter who developed an awesome and amazing program which celebrates and teaches young women how to be firefighters, which is one of the non-traditional roles we recruit here at the City of Greensboro. In addition, as we always do, we have our episode of The One, where we will be talking to one of our fabulous city employees that has done some groundbreaking things in our community. So sit back, relax, and let's take a look at this edition of One Greensboro. And now we're at the Public Safety Training Facility, a place which I love because it teaches many people in our community and outside our community things about public safety. But the fun thing we're going to talk about with public safety today is a program called Camp Spark. And I'm here with Brittany King. Hi, Brittany.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm wonderful, and I'm so ready to find out about your baby, Camp Spark. Tell us a little bit about you, your position here at the fire department, and what made you create Camp Spark.
Okay, well, my name is Brittany. I've been on the Greensboro Fire Department for about 5 years. I'm a firefighter on Engine 7. And I was inspired to join this department actually when I met a female firefighter who works for this department. Her name's Hannah. I met her at the gym and she told me all about the job and I was hooked immediately. I went on some ride-alongs and I decided to apply.
Hannah is the ultimate recruiter because we used to work at the same gym. We might have all been there together and didn't even realize it.
Probably.
Yes. Well, we're so glad you're here and been here 5 years. Time flies.
It does.
So tell us, what is Camp Spark and why did it spark?
Camp Spark is basically a program designed to allow young women to learn about the fire service from female firefighters. We hope that it gives them the opportunity to discover what they're really capable of and basically just learn about everything we do in hopes that they might consider a job in the public safety field.
Wow, and how many sessions have you had already of Camp Spark?
This will be our second this year. So last year was our first and it was wildly successful.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. What are the age groups for Camp Spark?
So we are accepting young women ages 14 to 18.
14 to 18. And why is that such a pivotal age that you think you need to kind of grab them and get them interested in this particular field?
At this age, you start thinking about what you want to do with your future. And a lot of times you don't consider careers in the public safety field and male-dominated professions just because you don't see people who look like you doing those things.
Good.
And so it's really good for us to go ahead and try to attract that group so we can let them know that there are opportunities in all different fields that you might not have considered.
Was there someone that actually inspired you besides Hannah, maybe in your childhood or even today, that keeps you going and being creative as you are a female? Who inspires you the most?
Yes, I actually have a cousin who is a female firefighter in Florida, and I actually pretty much followed in her footsteps. She was in the Army, I went to the Army. Okay. She became a firefighter, I became a firefighter. So she's definitely a huge inspiration for me.
Wow. So are the applications still being accepted or is it over? What's the time period to apply?
We are accepting applications until June 15th.
Okay.
And you can go right to Greensboro Fire Department's webpage and just search Camp Spark, and it'll take you right to our application.
Wonderful. And one thing that I missed, because I'm standing out here, what do they do, Brittany? Tell me some of the stuff they do. Do they get in these cool buildings?
Yes, they will be in all of these buildings, actually.
All of the buildings.
So basically, they'll do everything that we do short of actually going in a burning building. They're going to pull hose lines, they're going to throw ladders, they're going to rappel, they're going to climb our huge aerial trucks. They're even going to use the jaws of life to tear apart a car as if a person was stuck in there.
They get to do the jaws of life?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And Brittany, I have to tell you, it's been a long time because I'm an old schooler with the City of Greensboro. Do they get to drag the dummy as well, too?
Yes, ma'am, they
Oh,
do.
my gracious, that dummy, I got it, but I stopped and I had to get my breath, but I made it across the line.
Yeah,
So that's so cool.
it's tough, but you want to know something really cool? The girls that we had out here last year, they're teenage girls, but they were out here handling that dummy really well.
Wow. Well, I applaud you. All women should applaud you for what you're doing, because this is such a hard to fill position, but you are making it happen, and you're making it happen for women of all ages, hopefully seeing this, and we just thank you so much for everything you're doing. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome to this edition of The One. The One is an intimate conversation with City of Greensboro employees that are working to create a culture of oneness in our organization and our city. This conversation will allow you to get to know them and hear their thoughts on our journey to create One Greensboro. This conversation this month is so exciting because we are in Women's History Month, and we will be speaking with Polly Sizemore, police attorney, who I'm so excited to have here. Hello, Polly.
Hey, how are you, Maria?
I am wonderful. I am
You
wonderful.
are wonderful.
And you are wonderful. We go so far back, people don't even need to know. So we're just going to
True.
delve into it. We're going to have a good old conversation.
Okay.
So many people now, this is the new thing that's out. I'm sure you've heard it. Her story. And when I thought about her story, I couldn't think of anybody else to tell it but you this month. So tell me about your story, her story.
Well, when I first saw that about her story and that this is about One Greensboro, I think the biggest thing about my story is that I'm a Greensboro native. I was born here. I went to elementary school, junior high. It was junior high then.
Me too.
High school. I got a master's at UNCG. All my work has been for Greensboro, Guilford County. I am too old to say girl, but I am a Greensboro girl. That's who I am through and through. So that's what I thought my story is really about, being here in Greensboro.
Wonderful. And I think that's always why we've related to each other so well, because I'll say it, we're both Greensboro ladies, girls, gals, all of that good stuff, and we love our hometown. I can truly say that.
Yes.
I can.
Yes.
So now that you've been here with the city, because I know you've had several roles and you've been here for quite some time, tell us about your role in police and what you do as police attorney.
Well, I think to sum it up in one sentence of what do I do for Greensboro Police is I give legal, someone corrected me today instead of advice, they said you give legal guidance to our department and our officers. And that's really what I do every day, each day, and it could range from officers calling because they have questions that are unfolding right in front of them on a search or a seizure, or I've heard there's a new statute, what can I do here? Those happen every day. Would you look at this contract? Would you help us with a memorandum of agreement, a mutual aid, reading and updating on case law? It is all about legal guidance to our department.
I like that. And I can truly say you are keeping them on their toes. So I applaud you for that.
Well, they keep me on my toes because
Wonderful.
they come up with questions I would never have thought of, and we find an answer together.
Good.
Yes.
Good. And I also know who to call if I get in a jam, because I have before. So tell us also, what is the most interesting project that you're working on, and tell us why that's the most interesting project.
You know, the word interesting threw me off because it's all interesting to me. There is not a dull moment. But I think the project intrigued me because it's been ongoing. My background started out as the counselor at the Juvenile Detention Center. Then I was the juvenile court counselor. Then I was assigned as one of the juvenile court judges. And our statute in North Carolina changed in 2019 to do a tremendous thing of raising the age to 18. That has presented many questions, challenging and everything for police and every agency that deals with juveniles and minors. And we're still doing that. As statute has now been in place for 2 years, and questions that come up, and especially with kids who get caught in both the juvenile system and the adult system.
Yes, yes.
And so that's kind of an ongoing project because it is ever changing, and making sure we stay on top of those questions.
Wonderful. And I know one, I'm going to swing one on you, and you're probably like, Maria, I forgot about that one, the behavioral health team, because you were very instrumental in us getting everything together in Guilford County and us making sure that we had everything we needed for that as well too. So
that has been a great thing. I was fortunate to be on what we called our IVC committee.
Yes.
But it connected with people that are working in the same area that we have questions. Hospitals have questions about what police are doing. Police and sheriff have questions, practitioners. And so as part of being on that committee, and I will say I watched a webinar years ago with our Deputy Chief Thompson, and we saw, they described on that a behavioral health team who went out in plain clothes, unmarked vehicles, with a practitioner, and you thought, that's what we need.
Absolutely.
And Chief and Thompson and our great law enforcement created that, along with you and behavioral health specialists who really do work as a team.
Yes.
That is an amazing thing for
good
Greensboro.
work. Some good work, and I thank you for your service to that. So with all that being said, who inspired you to be Polly? Who inspired you?
Well, I've had a lot, because I'm old. I've had a lot of inspiration along the way with people I've worked with and for, from my manager at Stamey's Barbecue to the chief court counselor, my mentor at the law firm, chief, the judges I worked with. There have been many. But when I really thought about coming to work at the city, and the person I think of the most, who I would most want to be like if I ever could, Mona Edwards.
I agree.
Just knowing that she was here as an assistant deputy city manager and the work she did, and then to go to what I think is a jewel in Greensboro that we overlook as a Center for Creative Leadership.
Yes.
I would love to. I went to seminars there. I would love to be a part of that, and then to be at our great community foundation.
Yes.
And now to have her own work where she's counseling and guiding people. And I think the main thing about Mona, too, is she's quiet.
She is.
And she gets things done in a quiet way in which everyone, we're talking about being inclusive, everyone feels included and respected and honored. And Mona has done that forever. And so if I could be like any one person today, it'd be Mona.
Oh, wow.
And you.
Oh, Polly. Well,
Mona,
the good thing is Mona also guided me because, you know, I saw how she operated when I was here, you know, my first stint at the city. And like you said, just that quiet leader is just so inspirational.
Yes.
So,
It is.
yes, Mona
She
is great.
is.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I'm taking, you also would swap places with her when she was here. But now who would you swap places with in general? It could be the city, it could be Oprah Winfrey, it could be anybody. Who do you want to swap places with?
When I read that question, I will give you my immediate answer.
Ooh.
Any staff member at Dog Days.
Dog Day.
Dog Days is doggy daycare and boarding, and that's where my dog goes because I work long hours for the city. Let me make sure everybody caught that. No. And I don't like her being alone, and she loves going there, and they're good to her. And you could just be in a room full every day of happy dogs. Happiest place on earth, Dog Days. Staff member at Dog Days.
My gracious. So is that going to be our, after we leave the city, you're going to go and volunteer at Dog Days?
I think it could be.
Oh my gracious.
I know. I think about dogs, flowers. Yeah, growing flowers. Maybe a couple vegetables. Yes.
Okay, I definitely will be by the house to get some of those vegetables.
Okay.
I definitely will.
Okay.
So now we're talking about women's history. You've told me all about you. Everyone now knows about you. So how is celebrating women's history on an annual basis, but more or less on a daily basis, something that we need to do as far as moving towards One Greensboro?
Well, I thought about that question a lot because I'm glad we celebrate women for many years, and I'm old enough to have been there. My first time in court, the judge told me I could not speak in court because I was a woman.
Wow.
And so when we see how women have grown, I think it's great we have a Women's History Month. I've also thought, wouldn't it be even better when we finally arrive at the place that women achieving, succeeding, being part of this is celebrated every day and not just 1 month.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're getting closer. And I'm
we
so
are.
proud that we have our Women's Employee Resource Group, because they're doing so many phenomenal things to get that daily, or if not daily, at least monthly, do some things all the time. So I'm so proud again. How can we splinter what we're doing here at the city for our municipality and where we work out into where we're from, Greensboro?
Well, I think you do a great job of getting the message out to celebrate women, people who are contributing, bringing us all together. It's a difficult task. I think we have been separated by many events. I think the best thing about Greensboro is we have so many different people from different walks of life, nationalities, very different, in that we can all come to Greensboro, and someone smarter than me said this, is to provide a safe place for everyone to be an individual. So you're one Greensboro, but you're an individual here. So you are accepted and part of everything.
Wow, I love that.
Someone smarter, much smarter than I said that.
Well, I like that.
And I wrote it down.
I'm
Yes.
glad you did, because I'm going to have to take a spin on that for the rest of ONE Greensboro. I love it. So, Polly, what I can say is thank you for your service, thank you for your friendship, and thank you for just being Polly Sizemore from Greensboro, because I love me some Polly Sizemore from Greensboro.
Well, thank you. I love you
Yes.
and Greensboro.
Yes,
it's
you
a
do.
great place to live.
It is, and we're
It
going to
is.
make it even better. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.